This time we're jumping right in with my favorite thing in the whole wide world, Python. Obviously, you guys know I love Python. Okay, so I already showed you 5 to the 4th. One of the things you can do is you can say pow 5 comma 4. In other words, you have this power function, right? And inside of these parentheses, it takes your arguments or your parameters. So rather than 5 asterisk asterisk 4, you can say pow and in parentheses, right, 5 comma 4. You can also do other stuff like absolute value, right? So absolute value is just how far away you are from 0. So, it's exactly 18. You can do like floor. Now you notice when I do floor, it's going to blow up, and that's because you need to import the math module, right? And now you can say math dot floor, and now you can put that number in it. And basically what floor does, it's kind of like rounds down, right? So I can math dot sqrt, right, square root. I'll do my 81, right? And now what if I want to assign a variable to it? What if I want SR? If I want SR to equal math dot square root, whoops. I want SR to equal math dot square root. Now I can SR and I can put numbers in there. So I can SR 81, and he says that's 9. So this is just me giving it a shortcut. Okay. All right. Okay, now the most important part, strings. Okay, so you're going to see me do this a lot. Let me make sure I cover this too. Single quote, left arrow. Double quote, left arrow. Left parent, right parent, left arrow. What does that mean? If I go single quote, left arrow. If I go double quote, left arrow. If I go left parent, right parent, left arrow, right? Single quote, left arrow, double quote, left arrow, left parent, right parent, left arrow, left bracket, right bracket, left arrow. You want to get in the habit of typing that way. Let's say, for example, you're going to say function, right? And I immediately do left parent, right parent, left arrow, right? Param 1, comma, param 2, right? You want to get in the habit of doing that. You want to say, string equals left, single quote, left arrow, right? This is a string, right? If I do string 2, right? Double quote, left arrow. This is another string, right? Get in that habit of nesting quotes, parentheses, brackets. Get in that habit of doing that. You're going to feel like an idiot typing stuff out that way. But if you get in that habit, you'll start to notice that your code gets cleaner. And this is one of those things that, like I said, I see a lot of beginners mess up. Okay, so if I go double quote, left arrow, XSS, right? Single quote, left arrow, right? SQLI, right? Double quote, left arrow, Joe's a Python lover, right? Now if I go single quote, left arrow, Joe's, now we got a problem there, a Python lover. So here's our problem. If we have double quotes are literal, so it doesn't matter if I have a single quote in the middle. But in this case, I have double quotes, single quotes on the outside. So I'm going to need to put a slash right here because you want to escape this single quote. The problem is, if you don't do that, he's going to say, okay, here's the start of the string, here's the end of the string, in which case that leaves this guy as odd man out. So it'll blow up if you don't fix that. If I hit enter, it blows up right there. So the correct thing to do is to escape it like this. So I can say A equals double quote, left arrow, Joe, right? B equals double quote, left arrow, McCrae, right? Now I can A plus B, or I can A comma B, right? Not an issue displaying those records, right? But like I said, if C now equals 10, I can't A plus B plus C. It's going to blow up. You can't intermingle strings and numbers. Okay, so now I'm going to break the rule I taught you. So what if I go num equals 10, right? Now I can num plus 2, that's working. But what if I do something like this? You see how I said the number of open ports found on this system is num. Okay, well, there's a problem because the number of open ports found on the system is in quotes, it's a string. Num, we've already seen it as an integer, so it's gonna blow up. I do that, that sucker blows up. Now what you can do is I can go num equals, and I can convert it to a string. Now I can run that whole line again, and he says the number of open ports found on this is this, right? I used to run into problems where you would say stuff like subnet equals, in quotes, 192.168.8 dot something, right? And then you wanted to make last octet equal 5. You can't add subnet, right, plus last octet, right? They blow up. But what you can do is you can take last octet and you can string that sucker like that. Now you can put them together and you have a full IP address. I run into this in situations where you're iterating through a list of numbers and you want to take, you've got a range, you want to iterate through a list of numbers and create IP addresses out of it. You run into this kind of stuff, you just need to realize, because it's got dots in it, it's not a real number. It's got multiple dots in it. It's not a floating point. It's not an integer. You got to treat it as a string. These are those little things that you need to know when you're trying to write log parsers. So now that we've turned num into a string, now we can do stuff where we say like, okay, there are num vulnerabilities found in this environment. You can see it now shows up properly. Okay, now we're starting to get to some stuff that's useful. If I can help you learn about who we are, and hopefully if you're willing to join us. This is InfosecAddicts.